Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Friday night after the Magrib Salat at Darul Ma'arif al-Islamiyya in Kareli, Alahbadi, UP, India. Friday, the 27th of Safar, 1447, 22nd of August, 2025. Our Hazrat Wala is speaking about nisbat ki haqiqat ta'alluq ma'allah hai. The reality of nisbat is spiritual affiliation, having ta'alluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, Hazrat Hakimul Ummah rahimahullah ta'ala says that spiritual affiliation, nisbat, what is this? We say nisbat, spiritual affiliation, what's it? It refers to a general bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on its generalness. Every believer is a person of nisbat, even if he is a flagrant sinner and a morally depraved person. Now, a person's son can be how evil when it comes to deeds, but in the end of the day, it's still his son. We are the servants of Allah, no matter how evil, dirty and filthy we are regarding our lives and our deeds, but we are still the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, the nisbat, the affiliation, refers to a general bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Based on its generalness, every believer is a person of nisbat, even if he is a flagrant sinner and morally depraved person. This is because the bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is affirmed by the mere presence of Iman. The mere fact that a person has Iman, the bond, the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is affirmed. In the definition of the Sufis, the istilah of the Sufis, nisbat refers to that bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which contains two essentials. Abundant dhikr, kathrat dhikr, and the second one is dawam ta'at, continuous obedience. So, this ta'alluq and this relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we as slaves, in every condition, we should keep this in our minds that we are the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether a person is in health or in sickness, whether he is in poverty or he is in ibadat, whatever condition he is in. And it is for this reason ke buzrugon ke paas jaya jata hai, that we go to the Buzurgan-e-Din. Hazrat Tanvi, a man of that capacity, went to Hazrat Haji Imdadullah. Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Hussain Alahbadi, he went to Hazrat Haji Imdadullah, even though he was not an alim in the terminology, istilahi alim. Hazrat Tanvi, somebody went to his place and he asked that, where is he? And then the woman folk then, was it the sister or somebody, said that he is gone. So they said, where is he gone? He's gone to Hazrat Haji Sahab. But the thing is that, wasn't he studying up till now? Wasn't he studying and reading up till now? They said, yes, he was. But now he's gone to get completely done, completely roasted, what we would say, so that the reality of things will open up to him. Sometimes a person studies something, he understands it, he can translate it, etc. However, when he goes to someone else and those same topics are spoken about, then different points and nuktas are opened up to him, due to which he understands it now completely and holistically. So Allah se ta'alluq ka matlab, Allah se nisbat. When you have the nisbat with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is when you have the ta'alluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, in the definition of the Sufis, nisbat refers to the bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which contains two essentials: abundant dhikr and continuous obedience. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to stress so much on dhikr. You know, it was stipulated from his side that after Magrib Salat we should carry out the dhikr. So we were there, myself, Qari Mubin, Jami Sahib. We were making the dhikr of Allah. So the voice and the sound would reach him. He would become so happy, so elated, and he would say to the daughters, see, these people are carrying out the dhikr of Allah. He used to become so happy. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to say कि ताना बावन में हर वक्त जिक्र होता था, कोई वक्त नहीं होता जिसमें जिक्र न होता. That in Tana Bawan, in the Khanka there, the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was all the time. There was no such moment there in the Khanka in which dhikr was not carried out. कोई वक्त नहीं गुजरता था जिसमें जिक्रुल्लाह का आवाज न होता. No time and no moment would pass in which there was no voices and sounds of the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emanating from the Khanka. So it is not only about taking an empty bay'at and then it's over. No, together with that, we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا ذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. The dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. Remember me and I shall remember you. If you remember me, I will put my attention on you. If you remember me in solitude, I will also remember you within my heart of hearts. And if you remember me in a gathering, I will remember you also in a gathering. So Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to put much stress, lay emphasis on the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes we would write, or somebody would write, that we could not carry out the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then he would say that, oh, you see, if you in a madrasa, then you would not stay absent out of the fear that the muhtamim or the one who is in charge will cut your wages. But here, what to do, what to say, koi puchne wala nahi hai. Here, because it is directly linked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and there's nobody to ask about it, therefore, and that's why you people leave it out. Bahut chahte the. This was his heart's desire that we carry out abundant dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should always have a practice of the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala zikr ke anwar se munawwar farma de. Allah ta'ala illuminate us with the light and illumination of dhikrullah. Allah ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of understanding these talks of suluk and tasawwuf. Hazrat Haji Imdadullah used to say that when you carry out the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sit close to a wall, taake wasait kam ho jaye, so that there is less things between you and the mazkur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no things that are disturbing you. There's nothing in between you, somebody walking here, somebody doing this. And Hazrat Haji Imdadullah, he was the one who put Hazrat Tanvi onto Zikrullah. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, from the lawazim and the necessary things by him was that of tilawat of Quran and Zikrullah. Allah Ta'ala bless us with his nisbat, with this connection. So, in the definition of the Sufis, nisbat is or refers to that bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which contains two essentials. Number one, abundant dhikr. Number 2, continuous obedience. Without these two, the definitional nisbat cannot be realized. This definitional nisbat is by itself not within one's control. However, it is dependent on the fulfillment of actions which are within one's control. Allahu Akbar. فَكَأَنَّهَا اختيارية ولا يخفى أن كثرة الذكر والمحافظة على العبادة أمران اختياريان لأن صدورهما عن الاختيار من البديهيات الأولية. It is though the nisbat is within one's control. We know with certainty that abundant dhikr and obedience are both within one's control because they emanate by choice. This is from amongst the foremost obvious things. With the definitional nisbat, when the definitional nisbat is acquired, the seeker develops a strong and deep bond which rarely permits forgetfulness, whether in quantity or quality. In short, the person of nisbat experiences a natural aversion for acting against deen, just as normal believers experience a rational aversion for it. No matter what the main objective of the different forms of dhikr, no matter what, the main objective of the different forms of dhikr is solely to acquire the definitional nisbat. It is wajib, obligatory to acquire it, because abundant dhikr is the opposite of meager dhikr, for which the hypocrites were castigated. وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. So where are we going and gallivanting and roaming around? You cannot have peace until that time when this affiliation, spiritual affiliation, nisbat ma'allah, ta'alluq ma'allah is achieved. Allah Ta'ala give us that tawfiq and let us achieve it. We have come. We don't have nisbat. We don't have ma'rifat. How is it? Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and hidayat of walking this path to Him. Bless us with His love and His ma'rifat. Allahumma aati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khayru man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa maulaha. Allah Ta'ala bless us with this nisbat, with this spiritual affiliation with Him. Allah Ta'ala remove negligence. Allah Ta'ala make us acquainted with His remembrance. And Allah make it such that we cannot get peace without His remembrance. Allah Ta'ala make us habitual of the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ بِحُرْمَةِ سَيِّدِ النَّبِيِّ الْكَرِيمِ صلى الله عليه وسلم.